Hi guys, it's Robyn from Australia here. I've received a few questions on my TikTok site, and I thought I'd just, instead of going live, because I'm still waiting on a new piece of technology because the old phone blew up, and the man that blew it up, of course, tried to fix it, and the new one he bought to fix blew up as well. So I'm looking elsewhere. Anyway, so I thought I'll just do it as a video, post it on here, and for now that's probably the best option. Okay, so to start with, for the inspiration card for today, Dr. Wayne Dyer. So what we've got is, ask for God's help. Okay? In the private, quiet, prayerful moments when you ask for divine assistance, you need not beseech God to help defeat others in any way. Instead, you might pray like this: Dear God, make me an instrument of thy love. I want to be like you. I have forgiven them and I have forgiven myself. I think forgiving yourself is the hardest thing in the world to do. But that's one of the most important things to be able to do. And of course, when you forgive someone, you're not saying that their behaviour was okay. You're forgiving them on a soul level, so that soul is no longer connected to you and therefore has control over your thoughts or behaviours, you know, because these things happen at a subconscious level. So, you know, for me, I personally say, look, if there's something I can't handle, I say to God, look, I just can't handle this. I need you to come in and help me in whatever way. And I say the Our Father and Hail Mary, which I was guided to say. I'm not religious per se, but an energy teacher taught me to say those before I do any spiritual work, so that you're bringing in the Creator. So, you know, God could be a spaceman on a ship for all I know, but I use the term God to encompass whatever it is that has created us, our source. And I do believe in, well, I suppose I choose to believe in angels, Jesus as a healer, you know, so all the others. I mean, I was guided that the Godhead sent down more or less the same message, but of course it landed in different parts of the world, and it was interpreted slightly different for whatever, you know, race or culture it fell into. But there is a common theme, you know. So all of it is, you know, probably true in part, you know. So yeah, so that's what I do, just to cover myself and to make sure my connections are straight to source and nothing else can come in. Because, you know, as an energetically aware person who is empathic, and as a medium, anyone can come through. So, you know, you've always got to check out what you get. You know, don't just believe at face value what you're getting. You know, because it could be someone that's coming from a lower energy. Generally speaking, though, we attract what we vibrate at. So if, you know, you've brought your energy up to a certain vibrational level, that's what you'll attract. You know, but other things like drugs, alcohol, depression, all of those types of things are openings for negative energies to pop into our heart, because our temple is our heart. So, you know, and as human beings, you know, sometimes the negative energies that are out there, not wanting the planet to ascend and or us as a race, will actually meaningfully target us to bring our energy down, so that they can sort of contain us, if you like. And I know the planet at the moment has ascended. We will, as individuals, be ascending also, but we have to keep our vibration up. And, you know, one of the things I wanted to talk about is that, you know, I was listening to, because I listen to all sorts of information. I don't just follow one source. If you look on my Universal Whispers page on Facebook, I post all sorts of things on there, and anything that I think resonates with me, like in that, yeah, that could be true. That sort of sounds like that could be partially true or whatever, I post on there. And I always sort of think that to be informed is sort of like a way of preparing yourself, so that if something happens and we haven't at least got some framework for it, then our response will be worse than it would be if we have some sort of framework. So basically, I've been posting gear on that page for 10 years, and that has been, for me, just putting it out in there just to be able to say, all right, if something appears in front of me, or, something's happening in society, you can see behind the veil, you can see the bullshit, because there's plenty out there. Okay, so one of the shows I was watching yesterday was talking about when we do have this energy transition physically, was talking about, there's going to be days where we're completely robbed of energy. We're going to want to feel like we can hibernate, which really they were saying that, you could go 3 days and wake up and the transitions happen and you were sleeping. And I'm thinking, well, that's a good option. We're going to have different reactions to food. We're not going to feel as hungry. We're going to drop excess weight. Whatever doesn't serve our highest self will just fall away, basically. So at the moment, what they're suggesting we do is, totally focus on positive things in your life and positive things in the future. Because when I watch these negative things, these documentaries and people's research and whatever, I don't sort of watch it in the sense of I'm believing everything. I'm just sort of in the moment, interested, and then I just put it somewhere. Like I don't buy into everything, because it's really only what's in your sphere that is affecting you in the moment, and we're meant to live in the moment. Some suggest we're just holographic, if you like. Like we're holographic in that we're not 3D, really, and that this is just sort of like, in Avatar, we're having an experience. And imagine the movie, what it actually is talking about. So it's sort of like your higher self goes into this body and has an experience, but your real self is in another place. So if we are doing that, then really whatever's in that moment is all we need to worry about, is all we're just sort of focused on. And I have heard other spiritual people suggest that they're, being that we're supposedly this holographic, energy, if you like, that sometimes when we're in a situation, all the players in the situation aren't even necessarily human. They might be just there for the background, So as a human being, consciously, I don't know, but it's all very interesting, and it just means that the more information you have, and like I've done a Bachelor of Psychology as well, on community services on the more human side of things, so it's all a factor, but it's just very interesting to me. Human behaviour is fascinating, So basically what they were saying is, before we get into our new reality, the best thing we can do right now is clear as much dishonesty as possible. Check your motivation in everything you do and your intention, because if your intention is to be deceitful or, hurt others, that is your intention. Unfortunately, you're in the lower levels, vibrationally speaking. So this is where the forgiveness and moving on is really important, You don't want to get stuck in that. I personally now look back at, some of the worst human experiences in my life, and know that as soul, we agreed to have certain experiences, to facilitate certain experiences, to release karmic debts, all of this type of thing. So I can look back and go, because I did a lot of years doing past life work, clearing on people. You don't have to go into a hypnotic state to do it. I would be given what needed to be cleared it for the person. If I'm doing a hands-on and something pops up, we clear it. Experiencing the trauma is actually a way for negative energies to jump in. So that's what I had sort of experienced myself, and at one stage I had like 20 odd lives flashing around. But I was told, write a book or let people know that that's not a good option, because, you're opening yourself up to trauma, and like I said, that's when negative energies can jump in. So, all of this is relevant, This is just so interesting. Life is so interesting. I've been following this stuff now for 25 years, and it's just each individual, you know, I'll get whatever's most important for that person to move along from that, you know, because there's just sometimes things can be holding us back that are not even from this life. But as I was saying before, you know, you just recognise that the souls that have come through and you've had these experiences with, you on a higher level have said, okay, you play that part, I'll play this part, we're going to learn blah-de-blah, and it's as simple as that, you know. So when you sort of look at it in that way, it's less personal, you know, when you're going through it, like when I was going through those things in my 20s or whatever, you know, totally painful. I've been through, you know, all the depressions you can imagine. I've had mood disordered thinking, you know, body dysmorphic ideology. You know, I was growing up with a carer or someone caregiving that, you know, berated my other caregiver about body weight, shaming, all the rest of it, and then I ended up marrying someone who had the same ideology. So for me, even going on here is huge, because although, and this is another thing that we need to be aware of, so okay, so I still have a problem with that. That is something that will block positive energy and the good stuff coming to me. So these issues, you know, you need to deal with them. I mean, I really don't know how I'm going to do that, but those are blocks, and that's something that's blocked me my whole life, that self-hatred thing. I don't hate myself anymore, but I suppose given my experiences and the early thoughts, you know, because from the age of 0 to 7, that's the most influential you are in terms of what you know, you're fed from your caregivers, society, whatever. And of course you can change it, but those neural pathways are made. So then later on, when you learn other ways of thinking and being, you know, you do have to make effort to do that. Then it's a choice. You still have the old neural pathway and the new one. So it's your choice which one you accept. So, I mean, the universe and the Creator loves us just as we are. If we're all created in His image, like I say, we're all one, so He's everything. You know, whatever that entails, He's everything. I watched a video the other day with this beautiful woman who's talking about postpartum depression. I had that massively with my first daughter, and like I said, because I had, you know, in the family there's mental ill health problems on both sides. So, you know, I was majorly depressed. Also, that soul came through who'd actually done something quite terrible to me in a past life. So I actually think on some level I must have remembered that, because I can remember when she was born, I could actually feel, I don't know, I just felt this real tangible, energetic experience, you know. Anyway, so all of these things are a factor in how we move through our lives, what we attract, you know, energetically speaking. Another thing also is that I don't know if people realise that empaths, starseeds, earth angels, they do have a lot of trouble with addictive behaviours, what's perceived as personality disorders, etc., because they don't fit into the, you know, the normal model, you know, or mould, I should say. So I would be having a look about, you know, it's looking up, doing research on what these different energies manifest in their life in terms of energy, you know. I'm actually reading a book at the moment about empaths, and it's like, yes, tick, 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 you know, which I mentioned in one of my other, I haven't got the book on me at the moment, in one of my other messages. Okay, so, you know, because for me at the moment, you know, I'm heading up to the 5-5. Energy is good, I feel. Gravity's setting in, which as a woman, you know, in our society, is not a good thing. So that concern for me will be blocking positive energy. So I think we just need to understand, you know, what it is to be human, because that's the experience we're having while we're here. You know, and back to the depression, the postpartum thing, massive biological changes. You know, when you have a baby, it's huge. And the expectations of society to be perfect, when you're being flogged constantly, energetically, you know, I used to feel like a Jersey cow. You know, you're feeding children, you're covered in vomit. You know, recently I looked after some twins for a fortnight, and my God, you know, after a 12 solid hour shift, I'd be like, I need a break, I didn't even know I could feed 2 babies at once. Like, it was just, it was beautiful in that God came through and gave me extra energy because I have, a few health issues, and I did need to ask for help, and that's one thing I say to people. When you need help energetically, I say to God, please provide me with the energy I need for today, for everything I need to do, It doesn't have to necessarily be more, but just at least what I need to get done. And I suppose, actually, I have had people say to me, don't use the words need or should, because if you say need, you'll always be needing it. If you say should, they say you shouldn't should all over yourself. They're quite negative words. So Jesus bless me with, or whoever you believe in, bless me with the energy I need for today, and that will help. But, for me personally, and a lot of these empaths, starseeds, earth angels, because they find this dense energy really difficult, I personally take a bit of antidepressant every day. I didn't start taking it until, I think I was in my, I don't know if I was 40 or, I think I was over 40. But I've definitely been taking it for at least 10 years. But I wish I'd had it much younger, because for 10 years, there was a bracket of time that I literally existed. And, the thing that would stop me would be thinking, will someone take my kids off me? I was a single mum forever. And, I just wish I had something back then and got, although I have to say I did go for help, but back then it wasn't really acknowledged like it is now. And they do say sometimes there's like a 17-year gap between, knowing there's something wrong and actually getting a diagnosis, and actually that's what it was for me. So, I actually did the Bachelor of Psychology, which was suggested to me by a psychologist I was seeing at the time, and, I didn't know how to go about those things, but she helped me sign up. And it took me 10 years to finish it, because, of course, in the meantime, you're living your life, you're dealing with health issues, emotional issues, because your children often, if you're their source of how to live in this world, psychologically speaking, and every other which way, then, of course, they often can have the same issues. So, life happens. But, we've all gotten through it. I tell them we've done a great job to survive and get this far. Now we need to thrive. So instead of saying I'm a survivor, I'm a thriver. Like I say, you've got to focus on positive energy. Now, one of the ladies that sent me a message, now, let me see. Well, you know who you are. I'll send you a message. I'll send you this link. So I'm talking to you. So now, if the intention, right, is to create a pure product for healing purposes, void of expectations of greed, being the motivating intent, the creator would not see that as a bad thing. If, on the other hand, the motivation was greed, and there was no moral, like you really didn't care what happened after it went beyond you, then that's not really moralistic. Now, I personally have used a product which was called Black Salve, which was a herbal product that would literally go into your body and eat out any cancer. But it was a very long, scary process. So for me, I did join some of these pages and, would make comment and share my experience. And I actually have photographs in my photos on the Robyn Nelson Facebook page if anyone wanted to look at them. But I personally would never sell it or make it, or, I just say to people, do your research, because it, it's a very tricky sort of area. Because, for example, if you have, I did my arm, I did face, I did my breast. It took me 4 years, huge. And that was from radiation from a mobile phone. So do not stick your mobile phones in your bras, which is what I used to do. And I reckon I had that for about 10 years before I treated it. But, all of a sudden the universe started giving me the information about, oh, look for this, look for that, look for something else. And the healer I had at the time gave me the information on the Black Salve. And then I just got guided all the way along where to put it, and followed their directions. Same with my arm. That was from a microwave I'd been given that had a leak in it, so I ended up with cancer in my arm. took that out as well, and that still hurts. So I don't know if there's more in there or if it's just, you know, scar tissue. But like I say, it's a very scary process. And, you know, you do, and the thing is, when you go through something like that, because it's not, how can I put it, condoned by the medical practice, you don't get help from the medical body, and, you know, your own family think you're a mental case for taking it. But for me, the idea of using a natural product versus operations and them not getting it all, which apparently they can only perceive that you've got it when it's at like 80% level, where this stuff will sniff it out, you know, as soon as you've got a cell that's not normal, was pretty hard, because for 4 years you're totally on your own, you know. So that's why I joined this group, and like I said, I also would get the psychic thing as well. So a couple of women would, you know, send me messages to want to know certain things, and I would be given, you know, okay, you need to go for a medical procedure now, you know, basically, or you'll